everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of Keeping Up with Conspicuous. I almost said Keeping Up with Kardashian. That is embarrassing. Anyway, yes, welcome to episode 12, Keeping Up with Conspicuous. This is an episode today about current and future market trends, which will be relevant for the Dynamics 365 ERP and CRM markets in general, but also the wider community, IT community as well. Obviously, it's across recruitment and in the market. So we're looking forward to it.
We are indeed. So one of the topics that we want to talk about, and it's not one of my strongest topics because I still need to do a lot of research into it, but it's the impact of AI as a whole and in recruitment. So what are your thoughts on it at the moment?
So I think we use it at quite a basic level here. So we'll use it to generate ideas or to help us with something if we're stuck on, I don't know, like content planning or not content creation, content planning, big difference. And I don't know, just to help us speed up things, like if we're looking through a CV, it can maybe pull out keywords and just help us understand someone's experience or so I guess in recruitment, it's quite pivotal in reducing time.
Yeah,
in certain
it
things.
definitely saves time. I would say one thing that I use it for in recruitment is Boolean searches.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So
Oh.
I always find, like, I'm not very creative or imaginative with, like, if someone says to me, you need to look for a database administrator, right? I don't know what other titles there are, or what other people, because obviously if you just put database administrator. God, give me a... obviously it only pulls up people that have that title in their LinkedIn. And obviously you might be missing key...
Massive pool.
Key candidates, because all I knew was the database administrator. What I do, I type it into my AI and I'm like, what other names are there for a database administrator, and I can add that into my Boolean, so it sort of targets.
I like that, actually. That's a really good.
I haven't shared that with you.
And actually, I do use it for to tap up new clients. So I'll pull up lists of like the major CRM partners in the UK or ERP partners. So time saving. The only downside is the information it gives you. It's based off a couple of years ago. So if there's been acquisitions with companies and you're asking for information about companies before interviewing, it's really good for that. But, I'm interviewing with, KPMG. Tell me about KPMG before my interview with them. Brilliant, but just make sure the info is relevant and up to date still. So there's definitely downsides.
That's why you just can't solely rely on it. That's the big thing. And like, if you're just copying and pasting from AI, we know, everyone knows, it's not just we, like everyone knows, because it's not how you would talk. But I feel like we're just at the start of it, and I know I had a conversation with a candidate, I don't know whether you'd be watching, but obviously my knowledge to it is very minimal, and for now I should be a bit more open-minded about it and the impacts it can have, because it's detrimental. I can't talk with big words today. It's detrimental to some industries over our industries, I must admit. And obviously there is that risk of jobs being replaced and stuff. But I think for recruitment...
It's definitely a tool rather than a negative, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so, because you've got to be human. Like... If you that's not a human, that's a robot. Okay, it might advance in years to become more human-like. I don't know. But with recruitment, you can't lose that human touch, I don't think.
At the end of the day, if you rock up to an interview and you've created a CV with AI, you've interview prepped with AI, you've replied to emails using AI, you have to turn up as yourself to that interview.
Yeah.
And so it's a tool, it's an additional resource to help and aid and guide you, not to do things for you.
But we can't be naive to think that with further advancements...
Yeah, and we also don't really know what we're doing with it. So.
Yeah, like in further years to come, like, we don't know how it could impact our job. Do you know what I mean? Like, technology is just becoming more and more clever. So, like,
I'm gonna put that in my contract. Rob, you just make sure I'm not
gonna be replaced by a robot.
Yeah.
But like, it is scary. Like, I think technology's scary. Like, I am quite blasé, I would say, to some aspects such as AI. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I know what I get told. I haven't done my due diligence to know more about it, and I feel like that's something that I lack because I should know more. However, the stuff that I do know, I feel like it is really positive to how it's helped with my job.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It definitely has its pros and cons, but it'll be interesting to hear what, like, other people have to say about AI as well, because people from different industries, I feel like it massively affects other people already. And like, this is just the start. Like, it's been around for a couple of years, but this year as such has been like the pivotal moment where everyone knows about it.
If you have any thoughts about it, please, or insights that you can share with us, please comment down below. That would be really good. But then, so second topic, we thought it was super relevant. I know there's been a massive push over the recent years, especially since COVID, for contracting and contractors in the job market. We haven't seen, I mean, I'm going to ask Lucy sort of a question, I guess. How are you seeing contracting as a trend at the moment? What's going on?
This year, well, contracting as a trend over the years is like this. So if you're on that roller coaster, it's normal.
Keep riding.
Yeah, but contracting this year has been a funny old one. I would say for us, as a company, we are trying to have a push on the contracting market. We don't have as many contract roles as we'd like. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And we want to build that desk. So in comparison to other recruitment companies, we're only being subjective to us because other companies might have more contract roles going on at the moment.
And I guess it does depend where you sit in the IT sectors and things like that, because you may have a bit, I don't know, it depends on the project pipeline of different sectors.
Well, it depends what clients you've got in, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Some clients are so open to contracting, other clients are really closed off. If you can hear some mugs being clattered around, we're just unloading the dishwasher next door, so I do apologise for the inconvenience.
Welcome to recruitment.
But yeah, so my point being made was that you might find as a candidate, you might have contract opportunities out there with other recruitment agencies because they might have a bigger contract desk than us currently. However, with us, solely speaking, this year, it's been tough. It's been tough for contractors. We're getting, little and often come in because I think budgets for clients as a whole has been tighter and more restricted this year. So obviously they'd be more inclined to take on a permanent person because the cost of it would be cheaper. However, what would you say, like, contracting and permanent, but some clients really feel like contracting shouldn't, it's not as great as a permanent role. But why would you say contracting is better?
I think it's good for certain times of year. So if you're working in the retail industry, then obviously you're busier around the Christmas periods and you may have more projects going on and more work going on, but other times of year you might have less of a need and less urgent so I think it's good for urgent projects and urgent requirements that come up. Other than that, I'm just trying to sort of put this across in the best way that I can think of. If you need someone to start immediately, it's great. It's also a great infill for if you've got contractors working for you while you're trying to fill a permanent role, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have the workload balance for all of your employees. You're going to have the requirements, but I don't know. It's difficult. It is a difficult one because it's so hard to just say yes or no because I think it's subjective.
I think there's things as well to bear in mind. Obviously, okay, you pay a day rate more, as in like the day rate is more than permanent salary. However, you aren't paying that individual the benefits of, so that takes into account quite a bit if you've got a good benefits package.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can even out. But, contractors, I would say, if you're just moving into the contracting market, make sure you have a year's experience under your belt. Like, it's so hard for junior people to go into a contract.
Yeah, I would never recommend that, because you'll get a lower day rate, which it isn't as beneficial for you, especially if you're working on an ad hoc basis. It's very unstable at the moment with the market, whether you'll get a contract role lined up, you know, within 3, 4, 5, 6 months after finishing your current contract.
Yeah, I would also say it's been really competitive, the contracting market this year, because of the lack of contracts. So those candidates who, okay, last year you might have been on a day rate of 700, I don't know, that's just going on the higher end.
Yeah.
But there are then people who know that the contracting market is tough, and they've been sort of, you know, a bit proactive about it and thought, actually, if I want to secure a role and I don't want to be out of job and earning money, I'm going to reduce my day rate down to 600. Yeah. So you've got candidates with the same skill set, one that's adapted to the current market, and one that hasn't. And of course, the client would go for someone with a 600 day rate over a 700 day rate. Yeah. So once you're in the contracting market, you can't be fixed, I don't think. I think you've got to be flexible and fluid with your expectations. Is that fair to say?
Oh, 100%. I think it's just about, obviously at the moment we are out of for us, with our network of partners we work with and end users, we have got contracts in the pipeline, but last week we had a contract role, CRM consultant. They're also looking for perm. And of course they put the contract role on hold because they found someone permanent, because it is going to be a priority, especially for partners. So yes, let's go on to the third topic, returning to hybrid work models. So,
do you know what? My nan was having this conversation with me.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, bizarre. We were sat on the sofa. We actually had Sunday lunch. It was really lovely.
Love Sunday.
We were sat on the sofa, and she was saying she was watching the news. Every piece of information she gets is either from the news or the newspaper. And I'm like, let's not solely rely on this as a form.
Listen to our podcast.
Yeah, but you know, she was saying to me, she was like, I feel sorry for the younger people who are going into work and have the expectation of hybrid working, because I feel they miss out on such valuable lessons and the communication in the office. And she was like, I just feel like skill sets are going to be lacking, because their expectations now are, well, I should be in the office 5 days a week. And I think as someone going into a new job, and for younger people, 5 days a week is so valuable and beneficial at the start. Like, I feel, this is my opinion, but I feel like those younger people should be going in 5 days a week. You need to be bouncing off your colleagues, listening to your seniors, listening to how people do things, you know, really absorb the environment. And then once you're competent and, you know, like excelling in your
probation period almost.
Then maybe knock it down to a hybrid working where you get 1 day in the office once you get, you know, happy with that. Because I feel like everyone just feels at the moment, well, I shouldn't be in an office 5 days a week. I need to be working from home, because that's what everyone does. I feel like that expectation does need to change a little bit now.
Clients are definitely taking the power back a bit with that. And I think as candidates, we do need to be a little bit careful how much we push back. But I will also counter Lucy a bit, because we're not afraid of countering each other.
That's fine.
And I will say that, you know, candidate clients who took on remote people who are based in Scotland and their offices are in London a year or two ago, you cannot then turn around to candidates this year and say, we need you, or employees, we need you in the office 4 days a week. That's not going to happen. You're going to lose 3/4 of your workforce, which is happening with one of our clients at the moment. We've worked with them on a couple of projects, not majorly, but they've had a massive pushback on workforce, and we've had candidates come to us from that company. We're like, we do work with you, and they're like, yes, but this is a situation. We're like, there's not much we can do, because you need to have that discussion with them. And so there is a massive pushback, and I think Lucy's right, as long as the location works and for your job role, because as a consultant, your priority is to go to client sites and visit clients. Whereas I can see her, I can feel the energy coming off you, like, no.
I'm going to counter you again.
Go on.
Because I would say,
I think you're wrong.
I'd agree in the sense that you can't then say 4 days a week in the office. But I feel clients have a right now to change it back into a hybrid working, not just remote. And I think that, okay, location, I agree with that. That comes a big factor, and that should be a one-on-one basis. If you've had that candidate working there for so many years, and that individual, as you said, lives in Scotland, London, and you then say once a week, obviously it's not doable. I think it needs to be situational. However, if you're around the location of your office, which tends to be the case, you as a client, I think, should have a right now to adapt back to the working ways of the world and introduce hybrid working, whether it be 2 days in the office or whatever. I feel like they definitely have the right to do that now, because we aren't in COVID times now, you know, and I feel like
it's good for your mental health.
Yeah, there's so many pros and cons. So many. I think we could go on for days and days listing pros and cons to it. And it's definitely on an individual basis. Like, I know other people in the office love working remotely and are more productive. Me, absolutely bloody not. We spoke about this the other day as well.
But I think also it's about being at a company that is just a bit flexible, like flexible working. I think for us, we have Tuesdays and Thursdays as set office days, just so we can interact with all the team, because otherwise it doesn't make sense if you sat in your office on your own. But for me, you know, if I have a day where I'm thinking, do you know what, I've got so much I need to do at home, like washing, admin, personal admin, whatever, I just need that extra day at home this week. You should be working for a company that can give you that and provide you with that. I think that is the basis of this hybrid model, is the flexibility, and not feel like you have to write a letter to every single person in management to say, I just need this one extra day at home. But yeah, I think there's a lot to think about with what we've said, and I think I you know, wholeheartedly agree with Lucy. I just also made my points, but
I agree with your points as well. I think definitely lots of pros and cons, and it's just that flexibility of clients.
And if I had a kid, I'd want to be at home more. So to any like mums or dads out there with like children and pets, I completely understand that you need more flexibility as well. So
because hybrid working doesn't actually just have to be work from home the whole day, work in the office the whole day.
Yeah.
Flexible and hybrid working can be, okay, work from home in the morning, do the kids' school run, come into the office for school hours, leave when you need to go collect your kids, and then work from the evening.
Like me today. I came in the office the last 2 days. I've got some personal stuff I need to sort out today. The UK team are in for half a day today, so we'll be going home early afternoon, whatever we need to do.
Not to stop working, by the way, we've got client visits and stuff.
And then finish up at home. So it's just the flexibility, and I think that underpins the return to hybrid work model, is flexibility.
I think key to it.
Wow.
Last topic. Okay, the dilemma of counteroffers. Do you want to kickstart us there? So, like, if you could just explain what counteroffers are, for one, just in case some people don't know what they are, and why are they becoming more prevalent?
So, last couple of years, we've seen counteroffers go like this, with the competitive market in the IT space, dynamic space, ERP space, whatever, all of these. But counteroffers are basically when your current employer that you're working for, you go to hand in your notice or speak to your manager about a new opportunity you've got or a new offer for a job, and they say, actually we want to keep you. What is it you need? We'll offer you more money, or we'll offer you a better package, or a progression, so a more senior role. So that's a counter offer.
Yeah.
So why have they become more prevalent?
The economy. Life's expensive. And it's just getting more expensive. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes money does play a big factor.
Yeah.
And if your reasons for leaving aren't really too bad, in the sense of it's more tiny little issues rather than a big issue as such, money is important. Like, let's not beat around the bush.
No, yeah.
At the end of the day,
are you just searching to get a counter offer?
Well, some people do that, and it works. It works.
Stay, not saying, just ask.
Some people do it, it works, and they get what they want. But if you're doing that, definitely make whoever you're talking to aware, so you don't waste time. Or just sit down and talk to your bosses. Like, at the end of the day, if they want you, and they will give you not the counter offer, sorry, they will just give you that increase.
You're about to say give you the cash.
I'd love that. If I just sat my boss, give me the
Where's
cash.
my envelope?
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Have those conversations before you start time wasting for yourself and other people, I would say, because, yeah, counter offers are a big thing, but I think most people miss the first step of sit down with your boss, say, I feel a bit undervalued or whatever it may be. I don't think the pay is in line with where the economy is, really struggling to pay bills or whatever it may be. And see what comes out of that call or talk, whatever it may be, in-person meeting. See what comes out of that first. Because after that...
You may not need to look for a job.
They either say yes or they say no.
Yeah.
And if they say no, then you shouldn't really be going to search for a counter-offer and accept a counter-offer from that job again, because they weren't willing to in the first place, so what's changed? It doesn't prove a good working environment, I would say. So then that counter-offer shouldn't be an issue. You should just go for the new role.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's the economy, and especially in the Dynamics 365 and Microsoft space in general, Power Platform, the hiring this year has been very much on the senior and highly specialised individuals with a lot of experience. Yeah, I was trying to get like that. And therefore, it's very competitive, and there are less people in the space. So if you're having someone leave who's a lead consultant in CRM,
it's detrimental.
It's detrimental, as Lucy said. So you're going to get counted probably. Massive words. So that's another reason, is just the lack of specialist individuals with that skill set that Microsoft partners, or any, lead NetSuite consultants, NetSuite partners are sort of struggling and maybe countering more so than in recent years. But yeah, I just think, as Lucy said, have that honesty and open communication with your managers and your boss. Obviously, there are extenuating circumstances where the odd person might not be able to do that. Maybe that is the reason for leaving. So, I don't know. But
you've got to look at the whole picture, really, as a candidate, don't you? And one of the questions that we've got, one of the bullet points we've got down here is offer advice to job seekers on how to handle the counter offers effectively. So if you're in a situation where you've gone through a job search, you're in final stages, you've got an offer through us, and then you get counter offered. Now, as a recruiter, you, in your initial stages of your conversations, should always ask whether the candidate knows the answer or not. If you were presented a counter offer from your current company, where would that put us? Where does that leave you? And they, most of the people will go, oh, I don't know actually, because you don't think about it there and then, do you? And then that starts to get the candidate thinking from the get-go whether they would accept it or not. If they are unsure, then in your next conversation, you then ask again and just see whether they have sort of had that conversation. However, sometimes you don't know how you feel until the counter offer is actually there. So
and circumstances do change, I guess.
They definitely do. But as a recruiter, that is your job to keep checking in on those key points to see if things have changed. Because, like we were speaking this morning with Nico, sometimes things can change overnight. Like, he had a candidate and the salary expectation did change overnight for a certain situation. But if you don't ask, you don't know, and then you can't handle the situation as effectively as possible. And
I guess our job is to raise awareness and to get people thinking about counter offers before starting a job search. I guess that's a good thing. Maybe people haven't thought to have that chat. And I know it's scary. Christ, if I was looking for a job, I wouldn't really want to sit down with Rob and be like, look, I'm looking at a job. Can you do this? It is scary, and I know it's not ideal, but I think for certain situations it can help in the long run.
Definitely. And I would just say, as long as you're open and honest, this point literally comes in every single podcast, but if you're open and honest and have the communication, good communication with your recruiter, whether it's direct with the company that you've gone to actually, because some people don't use recruiters, just be transparent. You'd rather do that and not burn bridges, and be, it's hard, and it is hard to have those conversations, but once you've done it, it saves the harder conversations from coming up, because you just get yourself in this little pickle, and then
you never know what happens in future. You might need to go back to that company that offered you previously, so you don't want to burn bridges, as Lou said. But yeah, I guess that we've probably spoken for quite a while. So, okay, is something to mention, actually, I wrote it down before I forget because I've got a lot on my mind. 5th of October, we're doing a live Q&A. So if you want to send any questions, is it?
That's next week.
5th of October.
Yeah.
So any questions, anything at all that you want to ask us, obviously ideally recruitment related or just job search related, something like that, then please drop me or Luce a message on LinkedIn or comment on Conspicuous's podcast posts on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to answer. Please get involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you click attend on the event as well, you get notified when we go live. But the option is there if you can't attend the live there and then, and you just want to listen to the podcast afterwards, either on YouTube or Spotify, drop us a personal message with the question, and then of course, when it's up on those platforms, you can then tune in and listen to our answers. So any questions will jot down and we'll be happy to answer, because it's just a little round table of a Q&A, I say.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Yeah,
Scary.
it'll be good.
Scary because we're put on the spot, but...
Oh, well.
It'll be fun. What can you say? A bit of Thursday fun. So, yeah, that concludes it for today. Obviously, those are just 4, things we thought would be worth mentioning. Of course, if you've got any other comments or any further opinions on certain situations, it's always good to hear everyone else's as well, because it's all subjective.
Yeah. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, we like it. We like hearing from people. So that is that for this week, and you'll have to tune in next week for episode 13. That's crazy, 13 weeks have flown by. But tune in for the Q&A, click attend on the new event, which will be posted on the Conspicuous page and by myself and Tyla, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Bye everyone.
Bye.